sir. How y'all feeling on this Sunday? Day after Christmas. Hope y'all was smooth and blessed. We back for NFL Week16. Let's get to it. NBA, we're trying to pick them with the COVID protocols. I think we hit Boston +7. Atlanta got blown out. Would have probably took the under in that one. Utah, close game, even with Doncic out. Kristaps Porzingis out there balling, okay. And Finney Smith got added to the COVID list last second. Had him in my DFS lineup. Had to switch that up quick. Put Bogdanovich in there. Hitters all over. Let's get to it. You already know. We got the Sunday locks for y'all. Make sure if y'all didn't check out the episode yesterday, we got all the soccer locks on the end of that episode. So make sure you check it out. We're killing it in soccer this year. And this upcoming weekend's episode, bruh, a year in review of how many bets the high stakes takes have hit this year. So it's gonna be a hell of a show. Make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all subscribing, telling y'all boys about it. Shit, if you're a shorty watching, tell your mans about it. Put them on to that money, you dig what I'm saying? So NFL Week16, we got locks, props. We're gonna go over DFS lineups this week. Got a few sleepers, a few locks throughout every position, and we're gonna give you, to end the show, a fantasy update. And come on, Joe, put into the chat before Devontae Adams scored 2 tutties. Put into the chat, fuck this COVID shit. Bruh, do you think you're the only one dealing with it? Come on. I had Tyreek Hill on IR because of COVID. Brandon Cooks missing this week. I had picked up Julio because he was dropped. Maybe first game back for AJ Brown. He's out there as a decoy. He's still kind of recovering. Nope. He goes off. I'm thinking Julio out there. They said he was good to go. You should have learned so many times from the past, 4 years? Bruh, Julio, he gets hurt, and do not trust that man. Deadass. He will perform once he's fully healthy, but when is that ever? So that's tough. He's a hell of a wideout beast, but when he's healthy and when he's injured, can't trust him. So let's get into these locks for the Sunday slate. Now, how many locks we got? 12? We're picking 12 games against the spread this week. Let's go. Gonna add it to the title. And we got 3 prop bets plus a Brady interception. Could it be? 8 picks over the last 7 games for Brady. Come on. He's missing Mike Evans, Antonio Brown returning for the first time in at least a few weeks. So, come on. I think he does throw another pick. And imagine Stephon Gilmore gets one against Brady. That'd be crazy. So that's one of my prop bets. Lock it in early. And Carolina +10 versus Tampa Bay. This is a game where Cam Newton 2-0 versus Tom Brady. I know that shit don't matter because this was the old Panthers and when Brady was on the Pats. But once you have that consistent record, Cam still fighting for even an opportunity next year. We got Darnold returning from injury. PJ Walker. Bruh, if they throw Darnold out there, or if they play 3 quarterbacks in one game, fire rule immediately. Deadass. I can see it happening too. I had mad hope for him. Still do. Still think Cam can get it done. The offensive line, we're missing 2 more people today. I think Daly and one of our tackles is out. That boy's going to be running for his life, just like he was on the Pats last year with all those injuries. Come on. So, and who was it? I think his name's Emmanuel Acho or Sam Acho. Bruh. Granted, he talked about Cam made way more paper than he ever did, but he's talking about either he gotta retire or I do. Bruh. And granted, he's trying to be funny about it. Oh, I need this job. One of us gotta retire, this, that. Bruh. Do you not see? He's doing it for clicks and all that bait and shit. Bruh, come on. Come on. That's hella disrespectful. That's Cam Newton. That's Cam Newton. Come on. Come on. NFL MVP. Cam Newton. That boy saying he got to retire. Stop that shit. Stop that shit. That's crazy. So, for this game, I'm going to rock with Carolina. It's almost every time I pick Carolina this year. I think I picked against them once, and I got it right early on. But almost every time I get it wrong. So, y'all should probably fade this pick. I'm going to take Carolina plus 10 versus Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay getting shut out last week. Brady's going to be tight. But missing Fournette, missing Mike Evans, and Godwin out for the year. There's just so many injuries that they're dealing with right now. It's going to be tough for them. And they're traveling on the road. And it's a division game. And surprisingly, if Panthers go on a run, they have a few teams lose some games. They still have a far shot from the playoffs, but still a far shot to make it in. So they're going to be out there. I don't even think they got playoffs on their mind. They just need a fucking win. And I think this game, they'll keep it close. Tampa Bay and Brady probably pull some shit out of their ass, but I might take Panthers money line. You never know. A little side shit. So the next game we got Philly. And these are the 1 o'clock games. We always slide through the 1 o'clock games, hit off the 4 o'clock games, and give you the Sunday and Monday night locks. So the next 1 o'clock game, we got Philly at home versus the Giants. Giants, they aren't even naming a quarterback. Daniel Jones, out for the year. Barkley, he's still getting targets, still getting the rushes, but the rushing yards and dealing with a quarterback like that in offense that's just not productive is tough. They didn't even name a quarterback. It could be Fromm. You could throw Glennon out there who threw 3 picks last week. I think that's going to be hectic. This is a guaranteed lock. Philly covered during the week. Who they play? I think it was Washington. They covered versus Washington during the week by 10. I think they cover again by 10 at home. Glennon probably going to throw a pick. If he starts and they have that bet out there, which they might not even, see. Oh, they actually have Fromm's over-under. So kind of a prediction, kind of a little, I don't know, a little flash forward. Maybe he starts. That's what the bookies are thinking. So, but if Glennon's out there to throw a pick, and even from rookie quarterbacks, we always see him throw picks. I think Philly's defense, one of the top fantasy plays of the week. I'm starting them over Dallas, and that's only because they don't know what they're doing with their quarterback. Philly is solid against the run. Just opponent passing yards. Where's Philly at? See, against the pass, Philly 11th. Over their last 3, only giving up 193. So, and if you don't know what you're doing with your quarterback, like Baltimore this week, my lock of the week, Cincinnati, -7 at home versus Baltimore. Baltimore without Lamar Jackson, without Huntley, who's been turning up. Jimmy Smith on defense, he's out. And then you got Josh Johnson, who we know from team to team, certified backup, but sometimes he plays well when he steps up. But I think the key little note to this is they signed him, 10, 11 days ago off the Jets practice squad. Wasn't even on the Jets starting roster. And granted, they got Flacco and got a couple quarterbacks over there, Mike White. They got the rookie Wilson. But on the practice squad for the Jets, come on. And only not even 2 full weeks of practice with Baltimore. This is going to be tough. And Cincinnati, solid versus the run. If we look at them lately, Take a closer look at this. Cincinnati, 4th in the league versus the rush. And versus the pass, it don't even matter because Josh Johnson ain't going to pass the ball well. Granted, he got Marquise Brown out there. You got Hollywood. You got Mark Andrews, who I need to turn up in fantasy this week, but it's going to be tough with Josh Johnson. So, guaranteed lock of the week, Cincinnati, -7. And I'm going to rock with Philly, -10 to cover that spread again. And the next game we got at 1 o'clock, Houston. Now, Houston. Could Davis Mills get out there, start Millie rocking and turn up? Because the Chargers have been up and down team, back and forth. You never know what you're going to get. They got Mike Will. He's out this week at wideout. Austin Eckler, he's also out. Ooh, pack him up, Nets world. Ooh, Kevin Durant tweeting, getting on them Twitter thingies. Let's get it. But Houston, I think them at home, 10.5. I like the half. I like the half point right there. Just like yesterday, we'd like the under 46.5 in that Green Bay game. Hit 46 points exactly. So that half really comes in clutch sometimes. I think Houston at home versus the Chargers defense, who, what? Where they at? Over the last 3 games, damn, worst versus the pass. Giving up 283 yards through the air. Could Davis come out and start balling? Granted, he's missing Brandon Cooks, his top target. But you know, what always happens in the NFL is always going to be that random wideout who you might not see coming, who produces, catches a couple tutties. And I think Houston covers in this game. They're going to have to get the ground game going a little bit, but I think they cover at home. Plus 10.5. And Chargers, who, what, second-year quarterback in Herbert, or what, third-year quarterback? He's still young, still makes some mistakes, and with the Chargers being an up-and-down team, even though they need dubs right now, it's going to be tough. I still think they win this game, but I think Houston covers 10.5. It's a little bit much in that game, especially with the Chargers missing Will and Eckler. So, the next 1 o'clock game, who we got? The LA Rams going on the road to Minnesota. Rams, I think, favored by 3 in this one. Yeah, Rams favored by 3. But this is one where I'm not messing with the spread. Granted, Minnesota, without Dalvin Cook, they're starting Madison, who is not a bad backup at all. But if you look at Minnesota, giving up 265 yards per game. Well, actually, per game over the last 3. But overall, 252. Sit 29th in the league versus the pass. You know Stafford. He's going to go out there balling. This is one of my prop bets of the week. I'm fucking with Stafford to throw 3 tutties in this game. That's sitting at plus 150 for the over 2.5. And he's got 3+ touchdowns in 8 of 14 games this season. So over half his games, and in 3 out of his last 4 games. So I think Stafford's going to come out here balling. And with their run game, is Minnesota solid versus the run? Where they at? Oh, nah, it's 27th in the league, bro. Minnesota, this could be a blowout by the Rams. I see this shifting at least 4 points. But if you look at the Rams secondary, LA Rams, where y'all at? 16th in the league, middle of the pack, giving up around 240 yards through the air. Even though it's only 205 over the last 3, Kirk has thrown 2 touchdowns in 7 straight games. Come on, Kirk. Give it up for that man. 2 touchdowns in 7 straight? That's solid right there. So that's one of my prop bets. The over 1.5 in a game where I think Minnesota's going to be playing from behind. They're going to have to throw the ball. They're getting Thielen back. They're fucking with Conklin a little more. I think they got 3 weapons out there along with Justin Jefferson. They're going to get the job done. And even Madison out the backfield, not bad at all. So I think with the game script and the game flow and them playing from behind, I'm going to lock in the over 1.5. That's at minus 150. I might shift to 160, 170. Lock it in either way. And if you want FanDuel or DraftKings, then you could do a same game parlay. I'm going to lock in the Rams minus 175, which I think this might be a random game where Cook's out. Everyone's going to slam the Rams -3, and they might just win by 3 in a close game. Traveling on the road to Minnesota, it's not what skull. They all hitting that shit. Boy, got the That's crazy, dog. I'm about to leave that in. But they got the horns like the dude that fucking stormed the Capitol. That's crazy. They be out there scolding it and shit. It's gonna be tough playing in Minnesota. And I think the Rams pull it out though. I think OBJ, think he has a game. That's one of my plays in DFS. Sitting 6,600 on FanDuel. Come on, lock him in. And I'm gonna lock in the Rams minus 175. Stay away from the spread. Add it to all parlays. And with the over-under at 48.5 points, I think this is gonna be a back and forth game. Two high-powered offenses. Even though Dalvin Cook is out, we seen the stat on Kirk Cousins, 2+ in 7 straight. Come on. So, what's the over-under at? There's no way it's still at. See, now it's at 49. It's definitely going to shift to at least, 49.5, 50 points. Lock in the over early. I think it's going to be, at least 55, 60 points in that game. So, guaranteed to hit the over no matter how much it shifts. And you never see a drastic shift of like 6 points. So, you ain't got to worry about that. In the next game, which I'm stuck on, right? I don't want to call it. I will add to the locks in the record, though. We've been 60% over the last week throughout soccer, NBA, the MMA. Bruh, locks all over, hitters all over. And with this one, we actually lost on the Patriots last time. Now do we bet against them and they all of a sudden get a victory at home versus the Bills? Damian Harris questionable, but they do get Kendrick Bourne off the COVID list. So how does Mac Jones come back? Who? Mac Jones. How does he come back from a loss off where they got stomped? Quite honestly. And with the Bills traveling on the road, coming off pretty solid victory versus the Panthers last week, put up 31 around there. And with Singletary, he's been running well. And one of the more surprising stats that I seen when I was looking into these games is look at the New England Patriots run defense over the past 3 weeks, giving up almost 200 yards and sitting 24th in the league. So I think Singletary, and this is one of my DFS plays, Singletary sitting around 5,700 on DFS or on FanDuel, he's going to have a hell of a game. And New England, if they can't stop the run and they could get the run going, Josh Allen play action. Granted, Cole Beasley and Gabriel Davis are out, but getting Emmanuel Sanders back, still got fucking Diggs. And with Dawson Knox, he's a solid pass catcher. Breed out the backfield, he's also another option. So it's going to be tough for the Pats this week. I think Buffalo gets it done, but come on. See, I should just stay away from it. I'm definitely not throwing it in any parlays, but I'm going to lock in Buffalo +1. And I'll just take that +1 just in case they lose by 1 point. It'll just be a push, but you see him +1, -110 compared to winning straight up, -105. You might as well take the +1. So the next one we got, 4 o'clock, Seattle at home versus Chicago. Now this is one where Seattle's secondary, where they at? The worst in the league, giving up 273 yards. And it's the same over the last 3 weeks, so they aren't getting any better. And dead last. But the good thing is they're facing a rookie quarterback, right? And if you look at them versus the run, Seattle, not too bad at all. They sit 21st, granted, giving up 116.5 on the ground over the season. But if you look at them over the last 3 weeks, only giving up 86 per game on the ground. And when we show these stats, that's 86 combined yards through anybody who's running the ball on the other team. So, been locking in on the run defense. They could stop Montgomery and force him to pass. Seattle at home, I think that gets tough for a rookie quarterback on the road. Traveling to Seattle, that time zone change, coming from Chicago, where it's cold. Now you're playing in that, what? They got the middle open and shit. Crowd's going to be going crazy. I'm not sure about the COVID protocols over there in Washington. It's trying to stay out of all that bullshit. But they Seahawks 2-4 at home. Bears 2-5 on the road. And battle of two teams who pretty much guaranteed to miss the playoffs. Seattle has a slight chance. But the same chance as the Panthers. Pretty much slim to none. So I think Seattle, it's going to be tough. This is one I should probably stay away from. I'm going to actually leave it off the parlay. But I think Seattle gets it done. Chicago's defense, where they been? See, 4th versus the pass. So Russ Wilson, if he comes out there, if it's raining over there, he's like, shitty weather. He's already looking to go to a new team. But one of the teams that I guess he's willing to go to is Chicago. But does Chicago give up Justin Fields for Russ? That would be some of the craziest shit that would happen. But, I mean, if Russ is interested in going there, that would be hectic. So this could be one of them games where he's like, yo, look what you can have now. Let me ball out. Or Justin Fields comes out, balls out on the road, and Chicago's like, let's put the ball in this man's hands. Give him a few years. Maybe he turns into a Josh Allen. See some bad mistakes, but you also see some flashes where he could be a beast. So I don't think he really gets it done on this one. I'm not gonna add to the parlay. I think Seattle gets busy. They got Lockett, they got Metcalf. Everyone dealing with the COVID shit, so can't really. I mean, some teams more than others, but doesn't really play a big factor in this one. I'm gonna lock in Seattle -6.5 at home. The next one we got Pittsburgh traveling on the road to Kansas City. Now, this is a game where this has got to be one of the games of the week. You got Tomlin traveling on the road, facing off against Andy Reid, Big Ben, Patty Mahomes. If you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers now, versus the run, 31st, giving up 183 yards per game on the ground over the last 3. Does that mean Clyde? Does he go out there and get busy? Only 11 rushes last week. Can't really do much with that, man. And if Watt comes off the edge, starts getting busy, bro, it might be tough. It might be tough for Mahomes. And in the secondary, Pittsburgh locks in. Sitting 12th on the year, 223 giving up. But over the last 3, only giving up 184. So does Mahomes? He's been struggling at times. Granted, that man was one of the biggest reasons coming back versus the Chargers that we hit our parlay. So let's give it up for that man quick. But hasn't been performing the best in those critical situations this year. And it's just at times, right? Like short throws. Even in that game he came back and won. Short throws at the goal line, all that. It's just like, something might be up. He might be doing something too fast, trying to put too much on his shoulders when he has a hell of a team around him. But this game, Kelsey probably not going to play this week. They said he does have a chance. Pretty sure they activated him off the COVID list just in hope that he tests negative because he is vaccinated. So you test negative, guess what? You could play. So, and getting Tyreek Hill back, that's huge. But it's not going to be as big if Kelsey ain't out there. So make sure you stay tuned for that. If Kelsey's out, I'm going to rock with Pittsburgh +10. If he's in there, leave it off the parlay. Even though I think Tomlin, it's not going to be a battle between, him proving something to one player. but it's about a brand of football and how they talk about it in Steel City, in Pittsburgh, where Tomlin's like, yo, Melvin Ingram, we know you a beast. But if you ain't want to be here, guess what? We gonna ship you the fuck out. You don't want to be here? Deuces. You could go to Kansas City. We're gonna take scraps for you too. Just to prove a point. He's kind of like Belichick in that sense, even though I don't think I won't go there, as much of an asshole, right, as Belichick. But, hey, Kraft said it, we all can say it. But I don't think it's going to be one of them games where he's proving a point to one player, but he's going to be proving a point to his team that, yo, it don't matter who we go against. We're going to come out and ball. And the Chiefs versus the pass haven't been the best. Sitting 28th on the year, giving up 251 yards through the air per game on the season. 244 over the last 3, so pretty much around the same. I think Big Ben comes out and he gets busy. I think Deontay Johnson, he has a game. Freiermuth, he's out. So little tight end discrepancy. But one thing I did not see, actually, is fucking where the full injury report at. Is Ebron? Is E Breezy? Where's E Breezy at? Come on. And we gonna end the show with this, but this is gonna be tough. Motherfucker. And as I was saying earlier, I started Julio because Tyreek, I had to put him on IR. Brandon Cooks, he's on IR. I picked up all the running backs you could. I would have definitely started Thielen, who's probably going to play in a huge game versus the Rams. CD, Thielen, Tyreek, with Ronald Jones, Josh Jackson, Miles Sanders, and Jonathan Taylor. Come on. You think I would have started Julio? Bruh. And he said this before the 2 touchdowns and all that. You just doubled up. Whatever you just missed with Eckler, who probably would have performed, but you never know. And I got 10 points from Jonathan Taylor. I got 1 point from Julio. Motherfucker. But this might be a motherfuck. If I come back and win, this would be the biggest comeback in history. Especially after last week beating Fins Up, who's projected 178 to 164. I come out, I put up 221. 221. Let's go. That shit's hectic. But let's go. Let's actually go into what we came here for. What the fuck did we come here for? Nah, we were talking E Breezy. That's what it was. Oh, he's on IR. He's been on IR since week 12. So, tight ends, sticky situation over there in Pittsburgh. Wouldn't worry about it. They got Claypool. They got Deontay. I think they cover plus 10. If Kelsey plays, stay away from it. But I'm locking in Pittsburgh plus 10. Let's get it. And then this next game, which is a pick'em, but I think it gets tough. I think it changes. I think Raiders might get favored in this game. They are the home team. It is a division matchup. It's going to be tough. You got Denver. Who's out for them? Kenny Young, Calvin Anderson. They got some folks out. Kareem Jackson questionable. Bridgewater out. Damn. You got Locke who's going to fill in the mix. And then you go look at the Raiders side of the ball, dealing with some injuries. Abram just placed on IR because of his shoulder. Waller probably not going to play. Hankins questionable. Denzel Perryman and Compton both questionable. So also dealing with injuries. But I think Josh Jacobs been running well lately. Foster Moreau, the backup, who is a serviceable backup to say the least for Darren Waller. He's going to be out there. Hunter Renfrow, still a decent target. I think Raiders get this job done at home. I'm going to lock him in. I was going to say plus, but it's a pick'em. So, picking straight up. This is part. Me and Solo got a little little shifty, nifty parlay that starts at 7:30 in the morning where, bruh, guess what? The parlay could hit. I got 4 soccer. We got a couple football. We got the Vegas Raiders. And we took Washington plus 10.5. I told them I liked the half on that. It did now shift down to 10. Could it save it? Could it save the parlay to Sunday Night Football? Could it come down to that? You never know. So, and that leads us right in to our next lock, actually. 8:20 p.m. You got Heineke coming back off the COVID. Dak at home. Does he come out and ball out? I think everybody is going to throw their money on their minus 10, especially with Washington dealing with so many injuries. You got Heineke, hasn't played in what? I think like 10 days, something like that. So, could get tough. But, no, actually what? That game was Tuesday. So what they played, yeah, it's been about what, like 13 days, something like that since he played. So could be a little rusty, but I like Washington, man. Dallas, they cause turnovers, but they aren't the best versus the pass. 22nd in the league, giving up 246 yards per game. Over the last 3, locking in a little more, only giving up 185. Let's see them versus the rush, though. Sit 14th, which solid. But over their last 3, giving up 126 on the ground. See, we go over here, take a peek at Antonio Gibson and how he's been doing lately. Last game versus Dallas, just a couple weeks ago, only 10 rushes for 36 yards. Last week, 15 rushes for only 26. Can he get going? I mean, it's questionable. If we look at his toe injury, that's tough. Similar to last year's toe. Damn. J.D. McKissick on injured reserve. They got Jonathan Williams and Jarrett Patterson. Yeah, dealing with some injuries at that running back position. If Antonio Gibson is ruled out, stay away from this bet. But can Heineke come out and ball out? I'm going to rock with him. Let's say Washington plus 10.5. I got it in early. Let's continue to rock with it. And for Monday Night Football, to wrap up my locks of the week, we're going to rock with New Orleans. And Ian Book, the rookie quarterback, plus 2.5 at home versus Miami. I think it's going to be a tough game for him on the road. You see the Saints defense last week just shut out Tom Brady. 9-0. Granted, their offense can't score worth a shit. But with Kamara out there, I think that's going to help out the rookie quarterback. And let's get it, Saints. Rookie quarterback. I might fuck with the over 1.5 on his passing touchdowns just because I think he might come out and ball out and be like, yo, fuck Simeon. Taysom Hill, guess what? I'm the next big thing. Could it be? Let's get it. And for the last 3 weeks, all of a sudden, Ian Book starting out there, just putting together his resume for next season. Let's get it. New Orleans, plus 2.5. Hell of a week ahead. Week 16 already? That's absolutely crazy. Already? It don't even make sense. But let's get it. Let's get into the DFS. We got for QBs. We're rocking with Stafford. And he's at 7,900 on FanDuel. And all of our numbers from FanDuel this week. Rocking with Stafford, 7,900. One of the more expensive quarterbacks, but we already took the over 2.5 on his prop bet. I think it's guaranteed for him to ball out. He might be the best quarterback in what? QB1 this week? Could it be? Lock it in. So the next one we got Big Ben. Big Ben versus the Chiefs. Now this is a little flyer, this is a little sleeper, but Big Ben, he could come out, he could perform. Chiefs secondary, they give up some plays, and I'm thinking Deontay out there, Chase Claypool, Najee out the backfield, and Chiefs run defense. Not the best at all. 19th ranked, giving up 130 on average over the last 3 weeks. I think Najee gets busy, and that's another factor into Pittsburgh covering that plus 10 at home. I mean, on the road. See, on the road it's going to be tough, but Tomlin. The boys travel well with Tomlin. And I'm going to rock with, for a sleeper, I might not put him in too many lineups because it is a sleeper. But Big Ben, 6,800. It's a solid lock right there. Joe Burrow, another one. Versus the Ravens, who just dealing with so many injuries, it's going to be hard to keep up. And Baltimore, come over here and look at him. What? 225 yards given up through the air over the last 3. Sitting 31st in the league. Dealing with the COVID with Jimmy Smith out. I think Burrow, he comes out and balls out. And then sitting at $7,100, $800 cheaper than Stafford. It's a decent chunk of money you could add to another position. And to stack that up, I also like Jamal Chase, who last time versus Baltimore had 200 yards and 2 tutties. What do you think he's going to do this time when they're dealing with even more injuries? And granted, it sucks, but that's the game, right? So, a nice stack for that one. You could rock with Joe Burrow and Jamal Chase. Let's get it. Or, and we'll skip over running backs quick. We'll just finish out the wideouts. Odell Beckham Jr., 6,600. We already hit it early in the show. Solid play this week. I don't know how many people are going to be on him. And that's one of the things you got to think about when you're picking your plays. It's like, all right, guarantee locks, put them in there no matter how much they're owned. And even if they're highly owned, they have to perform. That's the only thing with it. But Odell Beckham, not really a big week last week. You look at Minnesota through the air. One of the worst teams, 29th in the league, giving up 265 through the air over the last 3 games. I think Beckham comes out, balls out. And 6,600, that's almost a sleeper right there. The next one, Mike Will is out for the Chargers. And Guyton is also out. So, with Keenan Allen, he's going to be an absolute target machine in this game versus Houston. And Houston's secondary, where they at? They're not bad, right? Over the last 3, only giving up 200 yards through the air. But middle of the pack, sit 14th, giving up 233. I think with Keenan Allen, going to be a target machine in this game. Guaranteed to at least score 1 touchdown. I'm locking him in. 7,700. One of the more expensive wideouts. And this next one at 6,700. Another sort of sleeper, but with Russell Gage. Who are they taking on? Pretty sure it's Detroit. That's why I'm a little sketched out about it. Yeah. Falcons only 1-5. Only 1 out of their 6 wins have came at home this season. Taking on Detroit, where they're winless on the road, but they did get a tie. They did draw, if we were playing soccer. They did tie against Pittsburgh. Crazy. But I'm going to rock with Russell Gage, $6,700 on FanDuel. Top target for the Falcons. I would stay away from Kyle Pitts. I think I seen a stat. He hasn't hit double-digit fantasy points in like 9+ weeks. So stay away from him. Russell Gage, been performing lately. I think he has 30 targets over the last 3 weeks. Close to 300 yards and a few tutties. That boy's been balling in that 6,700. That's saving you some money right there. So lock him in also. Keep wanting to hit the fucking lock button. Just hit it one time for him. But to slide over to the running backs, Singletary, who's going to have an absolute game. And if he gets targets out the backfield, like if Breida doesn't step in on 3rd downs, which he very well might, because if you're running Singletary 15+ times, which they should do, because if you beat up that New England run defense, even though Singletary didn't have the best game in his last game versus New England, I think New England over the last 3, close to 200 yards given up on the ground. Singletary guaranteed sleeper this week. James Robinson, my next one at 8,200. Now, he's pretty expensive, but he's taking on the Jets, who, versus the rush, sit 30th in the league, giving up 190 yards per game on the ground over the last 3 weeks. Damn. Come on. And I'll hit one for the Pats too. Oh, nearly 200 yards on the ground. Come on, just running it. Down throat. Dead ass. Motherfucker. But the next lock, I'm thinking James Robinson, lock him in. But this next one at 5,400 might be a decent percentage owned. But I think some people might sleep on it because he is only $5,400. Josh Jackson, who is filling in for Austin Eckler, he's gonna catch passes. Last week I think he had 10 rushes for like 83 yards. He's out there getting busy, even as the backup and filling in when Eckler's been hurt. This game, lead back. I wouldn't worry too much about Joshua Kelly, and I wouldn't pick up Joshua Kelly in any, even deep leagues. I wouldn't pick him up. But you look at Houston, dead last versus the run throughout the year, and giving up 180 over the last 3. That's even worse. That's even worse than sitting dead last. 35 yards worse. Come on. So that's a guaranteed lock right there. Make sure you have him in your lineup. That's a sleeper and lock for DFS this week. And I picked him up in all my leagues, and I'm starting him for sure. So, to the tight end position, which has been, it's been rocky this year for high stakes takes in the tight end position in DFS. But I think a sneaky one. We got Goddard, 100 plus yards over the last 2 weeks. He caught 2 tutties 2 weeks ago, but no tutties last week. He's getting the targets. He's the number 1 guy right now. Granted, they still got Devontae Smith, who's going to stretch the field. I think Quez Watkins gets a little busy in there. But they got Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders, who runs the rock well. We know Hurts gets to run on the rock a little bit. But Dallas Goedert has been stepping up over the past couple, 100 plus, well, actually 200 plus yards over the past 2 weeks with 2 tutties. My lock of the week for the tight end position, guaranteed. And at only $5,900, that's fairly cheap. And for the defense and special teams position, we got Philly at home versus the Giants. And that's one of the big factors when it goes to all games and picking any game. I'm looking for that home team. Granted, the bet looks good. If they're the favorite anyway, all right. But if they're on the road, throws a little wrench in the situation. But Philly at home, I'm starting them over Dallas this week in my fantasy leagues. They are the most expensive defense on FanDuel at $5,000. But if you don't have that much money, we can save you $1,500. You can drop down, take my sleeper of the week, Cincinnati at home versus Baltimore. You got Baltimore, 4th ranked rush defense for Cincy. So Baltimore's not really going to be able to run the ball at all. And with Josh Johnson, they're going to have no other choice but to run the rock. And if Josh Johnson gets to passing, you know he's going to turn over the ball. Cincinnati, they have a solid defense. And what is Cincinnati versus the pass? 26 versus the pass. Not too good, but you're also facing a practice squad quarterback who just got picked up, 10, 11 days ago. So not enough time to get familiar with the offense. They're going to have probably a package of plays he's going to run. And with that being such a run-heavy offense, their only hope is to run it so many times that they just start wearing them down, which I don't think is going to happen. My sleeper of the week at $3,500 on FanDuel, Cincinnati at home versus Baltimore. And that's the wrap. That's the Sunday locks. Let's get it. Make sure you check out the episode yesterday. All the soccer locks for Sunday on that one. And as we said, let's wrap up. Looking at some matchups. This shit's tough. This shit's gonna be tough. I'm down 21 points right now. I've had 2 players that have played. He's only had 1. He's got Cooper Kupp, Herbert at Houston, and Houston only giving up 200 yards through the air over the last 3. I'm gonna need him to step up. But having Kupp, T. Higgins, that's a little sketchy. Montgomery could be up and down. I'm hoping Seattle locks in Josh Jacobs. He's probably going to have a day. Hunter Henry, maybe. But Buffalo and Poyer could lock in with Henry. I'm thinking probably a red zone tutty for him. Bateman is also a sneaky little flyer who could perform. I'm not going to speak on the defense. They'll probably pick Donald, Walker, and Cam off. So I'm probably fucked on that one. But I'm rocking with Josh Jackson. I'm going to put in Tyreek Hill, which is tough for me. You look at the bench players. Bruh, Tyreek Hill, I didn't know whether or not he was going to play. I had to put him on that IR, which enabled me to get as many running backs and backup running backs as I did who are going to start this week. But I wouldn't have done it. I probably wouldn't have picked up one of the outright. You look at Reynolds right there. Probably wouldn't have picked him up if I knew Hill had a chance of playing. And they were saying this game could have been Tuesday. So it's kind of tough right there. But I'm going to start Hill for Ronald Jones because Carolina does have a good run defense. And let's get it. Ronald Jones and Miles Sanders. I think Miles Sanders has another day. Could be tough. And if we look at the next league, let's go. Look at the matchup. Taking on the Island Boy. That shit. I already got 90 points out of my folks. Aaron Jones just below projected, so I'll take it. Debo more than doubled his projected. More than made up for Aaron Jones. And Prater missing field goals and extra points. So, come on, Prescott. I think he's going to have a fucking day versus Washington. Let's get it. Deontay. I got Cup, which is tough. Facing Cup in the other league. Got him in this league. I'm really stuck on that one. But let's wrap it up. Let's get it, JB on the beat. Shout out to Kid. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're liking. Telling your boys, all your friends about it. High Stakes Takes, we coming.